I, female 32, have been dating my boyfriend for a few months. Jacob, 35, is a widower with a tween daughter, Katie. I've only met Katie recently, but she's a lovely girl. Well-behaved, is polite, and does well in school. An absolute joy to be around. She had a birthday yesterday, and Jacob organized a party for her. Her grandparents were there, as well as a few of her friends. A week before the party, a package with Katie's gift arrived. Jacob confessed to me what it was. Katie had been begging for a phone for ages, and Jacob bought her a cheap 20-pound phone. You know, the really basic one, and he ordered a box for an iPhone. I think you all know where this is going. I asked him if he was going to buy her an iPhone, and he said that it was a prank and that he's got some books for her. She loves reading, but she'll get that cheap phone, and that's it, and the prank will be funny. I hated that idea. I hate these pranks. It wasn't my place, and I barely know Katie, but I couldn't see her so hurt, and I knew she'd be devastated. So I bought her an older iPhone, refurbished, as a gift. When her birthday came, she was devastated. You could tell. She politely accepted the old phone and didn't make a scene, but was crying in the bathroom after. Jacob thought it was so funny, and her friends mocked her. I calmed her down and asked her to come downstairs, as one more present was waiting for her. When she got her phone, she was so happy. Even though it wasn't the newest or brand new, she was elated, and the humiliation was long forgotten. But Jacob was fuming, told me I was an idiot for undermining his authority, and that I had no right to spoil Katie. She was spoiled enough. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I can understand where he's coming from. I barely entered her life, and it may seem like I'm trying to buy her affection, which I'm not. He's so angry with me. I don't know if I was the idiot. I might have made Katie happy, but I hurt him. I'm conflicted. Was I the idiot here? Edit. I did mention to him that it was an awful prank, but he told me it would be fun and to relax, and that I was no fun. Basically, he wouldn't listen. Not the idiot, but your taste in men is questionable. Cruelly pranking his daughter in front of her friends on her birthday indicates that he will always be the idiot. And just imagine, if he was willing to do that to his own daughter after you told him not to do so, what would he do to you once he gets comfortable enough with you? In what ways will this man humiliate you just because he thinks it's funny? A year from now or 2 years from now? The guy's 35 years old, yet he has the emotional maturity of a teenager. You seriously need to reconsider your relationship with this man. Normally, I'd be pretty harsh with you, and I would say you're the idiot if you were going against the wishes of a well-meaning parent. But that's not the situation. You're going against the wishes of a bully who enjoys being mean to his child. Seriously? This man thought it was funny to upset a child, his child. The icing on the cake is that it was at her own freaking birthday party. What the actual heck? This man is deranged if this is his idea of entertainment. I'd run. God willing, Katie will run away when she's 18. The cherry on top of this is that the man is a widower and his daughter has lost a mom. Maybe she's so polite because she's scared of upsetting her dad. She sounded exactly like me when I was a kid. I was terrified of my family and behaved perfectly because I knew there was no alternative. OP, he not only thought this prank was so fun to do to a young girl in front of her friends, but she also has lost a mom, and he thought this would be a riot? OP, I think you should dump this guy. Leaving a tween girl with that kind of dad makes me very worried for her teenage years, when things are already especially brutal for young girls. OMG, yeah, good point. As though losing your mom isn't hard enough. How he treats his daughter is how he'll one day treat you. 100% guaranteed. Even if he's mad, you did the right thing. You saved that girl's birthday. She'll probably remember it for years. But what your boyfriend did was gross. And if anyone here has a right to be angry, it's Katie. I, 30 female, am Greek, and I was raised in the U.S. Even though I don't go back home frequently, I'm fluent in the language and speak it with my family. I have a preschool daughter with my wife, 27, who is originally Irish, but her family has lived in the U.S. for generations. Obviously, she and her family speak English. She has picked up some basic Greek from me over time and can speak it quite well. She also calls me Mama, which is almost equivalent to the Greek version of the word. Our daughters also picked up Greek from us, so in our own house, we switch from English and Greek. Everywhere else, I try to teach our daughter that only some understand Greek and that English should be the language she uses. She does that most of the time, but when she's excited, she usually switches back and forth between the two. My brother-in-law will turn 30 this year, so my wife wanted to throw him a birthday party. We invited our whole family to our beach house to celebrate him. Our daughter was, of course, excited about the whole trip and would sometimes speak Greek with either one of us. My wife and I would correct her and move on. At breakfast, my mother-in-law asked our daughter to speak English multiple times, which was kind of weird. She later told my wife and me that our daughter speaking Greek all the time wasn't so great because she couldn't bond with her cousins the way she should, affecting the family dynamic. She didn't speak Greek all the time. She did it only occasionally, and we always corrected her. My wife and I explained that she was just a kid and that being bilingual creates these issues. Mother-in-law was later joined by my father-in-law, who said the exact same things. I was over it at this point and had to join a Zoom meeting with my team for work. So I just said, "Whoa, that almost hurt my feelings," in a joking, dramatic way in Greek. My wife laughed and I left. Apparently, this hurt them so much. My wife and I agreed not to make a big deal out of it. However, over dinner, there was still a lot of awkwardness. I didn't talk much, and every time my daughter spoke Greek, we still told her to speak English. My mother-in-law called both my wife and me arrogant and entitled after we got back home, and it went into a whole family fight. Was I too much? Not the idiot. My daughter's raised bilingual, French and Dutch. When she was young, she would mix the language, but she grew out of it. Mother-in-law has several issues. She can't understand what is said in Greek, so she feels left out, and she's an unsatisfied curiosity about not knowing what is being said. Your daughter's cousins can bond with her, regardless of language, and your daughter could teach them Greek. That's a great learning experience for kids. Please don't let your mother-in-law and father-in-law or any other person shame you for teaching another language to your child. Monolingual, usually English-speaking in my observation, people tend to take offense far too often when this sort of thing occurs. Your daughter's young, and she's going to use any and all the words she can, and this is a good thing. Please encourage this. I will never understand folks who rally against this. I could have been bilingual at least. My mother is trilingual, but refused to teach me. It did not end well. I'm sorry your mother-in-law and father-in-law don't appreciate how much your daughter's learning. My teen female mom died when I was born. My dad dated, but none of them stuck until recently. I think I might have been part of the reason in some cases, as I know one was upset that I never warmed up to her. I don't remember ever mistreating any of them, but I was usually not very interested in them. I feel like I don't need a mom figure, and I'm happiest doing my own thing. That's all for context because I'm trying to understand why everyone is upset. It may be relevant to the current situation. I might be missing a pattern. My dad started dating Helen 3 years ago, and they married a year ago. Things were difficult at first because it took some time for her to really understand that I do not need mothering, and she will not fill that role for me. We finally arrived at a compromise in that she agreed to route all concerns through my dad instead of trying to parent me directly, and in return, I would spend a reasonable amount of time with her and my dad around schoolwork. That was working well until she became pregnant several months ago. My dad has said that the medical situation is a little stressful, so I might need to understand Helen more than usual for a while. Helen seems to be absolutely obsessed with this baby. It's all that she talks about lately. I'm not interested in the subject, but I let her talk. Because I skipped 2 grades, I'm also graduating high school this year, and I'm preparing for college, so I have a lot of other things on my mind. Schrodinger's idiot situation happened this last week at dinner, when she was talking about what it's going to be like once the baby's born. In retrospect, she may have just been looking for validation. Still, she asked if I was excited about having a baby brother. I'm not, so I said that I wasn't. She asked why, and I said, number one, I'll be at college by then and very busy, so that'll be my focus. Two, I'm not fond of babies in general. And three, even if siblings were something I wanted, I don't expect to be involved much with a half-sibling with such a huge age difference. Helen started crying and said that she didn't understand why I was so cold all the time, and she thought that at least I would be happy about the baby and loosen up some. She also asked if it would kill me to show some emotion and concern for how hard this is. My dad stepped in then, but later told me that I hurt Helen's feelings and that not caring about Helen or the baby was cruel. He said that even if I don't like Helen, I shouldn't take it out on my soon-to-be brother by denying him a big sister that loves him. I don't really understand the problem, to be completely honest, and no one here seems to be willing or able to explain. I feel like the answer I gave was reasonable. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. That may not be a popular opinion, but you're starting college at a young age. Lots of people your age whose parents are still together and having a kid don't look forward to it. I had cousins who were annoyed that their parents had more children. That said, you probably could have worded it a little bit differently, and it wouldn't have killed you to show a little bit of kindness. You'll learn as you get older that you can be truthful while also wording things in such a way as to minimize hurt feelings. You're still part of the family and she's still your father's wife. You should choose your words more carefully. I really don't understand people asking questions and being unprepared for the full range of answers. Also, being pregnant doesn't automatically make a woman more desirable as a mom to someone else. It's strange to think that OP would suddenly develop feelings toward her and the kid growing in her. Also, I think telling the truth trumps being an idiot. Sometimes the truth isn't pleasant. It's not being an idiot to tell the truth. I personally feel it's more of an idiot thing to lie to not tell the truth. You are the idiot. It costs nothing to be kind. You're intentionally disregarding your stepmom's feelings and saying something you know will hurt her. For what? A white lie in this situation hurts no one and would make your stepmom happy. Throw the lady a freaking bone. Agree. OP, ask yourself, do you love your dad? Do you want him to be happy? Learn to be graceful and polite. You could have replied to your stepmom, I think it'll be interesting since we're so many years apart, and I hope we can develop a relationship. I know Dad is excited, and I'm excited for him. I have never been the best at gift giving. It's something I can't seem to master the art of. I don't know if I'm just not as thoughtful as everyone else or what. Maybe one or two moments of spotting something and going, this reminds me of, insert person here, let me buy it. Other than that, I'm phoning it in with gift cards. Whenever a holiday or special event approaches, my mind goes blank as to what the person would like. My best friend's birthday was this weekend, and I truly felt like I had a stroke of genius leading up to it. He's a history buff and spends most of his time studying and traveling. He also spent the last year of his life writing a dissertation that he hopes to turn into a book. I've read over the draft versions of it as he works, sometimes out of curiosity, mainly to help out with proofreading as a fresh set of eyes. But it's now very near completion. I requested another copy of a manuscript, had 2 copies properly bound, and wrote up an About the Author section myself to include. When I presented them to him at his birthday party, I told him the first was for him to keep as his very first copy, and the second was a copy for me, the very first autographed one, if he would be so kind as to sign it. The whole thing was a really nice moment for his family, who I'm very close with, and us. When he read over what I had written about him in the About the Author section, he teared up a little. This is one of the only times making someone cry made me feel so good. My girlfriend was there during this whole display and didn't say much. She went home early while I stayed the night with my friend. When we talked the next day, she told me the gift thing was overkill and that it was proof that I was using weaponized incompetence previously to get out of putting time and thought into gifts for her. I'm kind of at a loss here. I didn't think the nice gesture indicated anything other than me doing something kind. Am I the idiot? Edit. Gift cards to a makeup store are usually my go-to gifts, or I'll straight up ask her what she wants and get that. Oh, sweet summer child, OP. Yes, you are the idiot. Sometimes we want a thoughtful gift, not something that's just an easy gift we get every year, usable or not. My boyfriend would be happy to get a gift card for something he uses every year because he values use over thought. I, however, care about thought. Even if he fails, if he really tried, then that's all that matters. Not gonna lie, I'd be angry if my boyfriend didn't know how to get me gifts and then got his friend literally the most thoughtful gift ever. I'm not sure you're a reliable narrator, but how hard can it be to buy something for someone you love? Oof, yeah, buddy, sorry, but you are the idiot. Gift giving is so simple if you actually care about someone. Actually listen when they talk. My friend casually mentioned she's been looking for a certain item. That's my cue to get her that item. My friend said he values experiences with others. Is my cue to take him to a high tea. It's not rocket science. He said gift cards? Jesus, no wonder she feels neglected. I wouldn't give my little brother a gift card for his birthday, let alone my significant other. OP, based on your story, you put more thought and effort into this one gift for your friend than every gift you've given to your girlfriend combined. I'm male 29, recently got laid off a few months ago, so I'm out of work and taking care of all the household chores and childcare while I'm applying for new jobs. Yesterday, I went to a party with my girlfriend, 29, and she was talking about our situation with her friends while I was sitting with the group. She laughingly said, "I don't mind it. It's nice having my own personal maid." Everyone laughed along with her. I told her, "I'm not your maid," because I don't like jokes like this, and she told me to chill out. I told her I was being serious because she's made jokes like this before, and I hate it. I don't like being the only one to do housework, and I can't wait to return to work and have a more equal arrangement again. This kind of made the situation awkward. When we got home, she blew up at me for making such a big deal over small talk and called me a major idiot. She said I should be grateful she didn't say worse things about me, considering how she's footing all my bills right now. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She said you should be grateful she didn't say worse things about you, considering how she's paying all the bills? She really told you because she's paying all the bills. This gives her carte blanche to verbally abuse you. I hate to say it, but your girlfriend has been put into a position of power in your relationship. The mask has come off, and she has shown you what she's really like. She actually believes that because she's supporting you right now, that gives her the right to disparage and make fun of you to anyone she wants as much as she wants. She's a good person because she only did it a little bit. Think about this. There are more red flags waving here than in a parade in China. They say if you want to see what kind of person someone is, see how they treat the waitstaff. This is an extension of the idea that if you want to see what someone is like, put them in a position of power. If they abuse that position of power to maintain control over others, then they're a bad person, no matter how nice they act around others that they consider to be on their level. OP, it was demeaning and hurtful. I doubt she would be pleased if the shoe was on the other foot.